Good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to Grandma's Kitchen. Friends, today Grandma is making something very interesting. When Grandma was growing up, her grandmother was making all these nice goodies. So friends, what this is, Grandma is making roti today. So Grandma already prepared her roti dough, as you can see here. The roti dough is here. Grandma started, Grandma finished a few. Grandma have one here, and it's a little too brown. Grandma have one that she's making to show you what she's doing. So friends, let's get right into it. As Grandma said, welcome back to her kitchen. Grandma is asking you please to like, to share, and also to subscribe, friends. Grandma is still building, as Grandma continue to tell you. So friends, most of the Caribbean islands make this roti. I believe one is claiming it as their dish, but all of the Caribbean make this. So when Grandma was growing up, her grandmother used to make this dish. This was a nice evening dish, a nice dinner. You can have it for dinner and you can have it for lunch. So friends, Grandma just want to take you down the lane. So what I did, I need 1 cup of all-purpose Robin Hood flour. Grandma put 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and Grandma put about 2 tablespoons of butter. I could be a little bit more because normally I don't measure. And Grandma kneaded and Grandma let it sit to proof, and here Grandma is now rolling it out with the rolling pin to put on the fire. So Grandma had one here already. Friends, Grandma have a few here. See, Grandma already have a few in her dish here. Grandma started already just a little bit before. So there we go. Friends, today I'm using paper towel as my brush, as my pastry brush, because I went out and I didn't remember to get a pastry brush. So here I am using the paper towel. You can too. Using the paper towel. So one side I base the roti pan, and now I place the dough, which is called the roti skin. I place it onto the roti pan. You don't want to leave it too much because you don't want it to have that high brown color, but you also want to make sure that it's well done and it's cooked. So friends, when you're doing roti, when you're making roti, you have to be quick. You have to, once one is on the roti stone, you have to keep rolling the other, because pretty soon that one is going to finish. So you just want to keep rolling your stuff. So Grandma make about 8 roti dough. About 8 of it. And here Grandma is rolling it out to show you what she's doing. It might seem hard to you, but it's not hard. Friends, we grew up. This is one of our dish. And as I said, I'm a 60s baby. So in the 70s, 80s, you know, we grew up on these stuff. Everybody was making their own stuff at home. My grandmother used to sell. And friends, I also have something here. Another interesting meal cooking here. Grandma have her Grandma is currying potato today, friends. Grandma want to bring you closer. So I'm currying some potato today. There is no chicken, no goat, no beef. Just simply potatoes with vegetable, mixed vegetable, corn, corn, carrots, and also green peas. And Grandma is making her roti, as you can see here, friends. And Grandma also started to make some before she bring it to you. So friends, there it is. You must keep it covered so it keep moist and keep soft. So Grandma want to set back the camera again, set you up and show you what she continue to do, friends. Grandma is showing you what she continuously doing. So here we are. As I said, these things, they don't take too long because the roti pot is already hot, very hot. So you have to, and I want to turn this, our potatoes, our curry potatoes, I want to turn it down. You don't want it to have too much juice, and you don't want it to have less juice, because you need to eat your roti, and it must be juicy. Not too juicy, but it must be juicy. So friends, Grandma is taking her time and doing her stuff. Now this is the weather to do these things, to make all these meals that you didn't have a chance to make in the winter. The winter months is so droopy and you don't have the feelings to do these stuff. So here we are. As I said, Grandma make about 8 of these. And you have to be quick. Mind you, I baste the pan, and then you would baste the top of the roti. You would baste it lightly. And friends, I'm using vegetable oil. You can use any oil you choose to. You can use coconut oil, you can use the olive oil. Whatever your choice of oil is, you can use it. But Grandma loves her vegetables. So Grandma is using the vegetable oil, and she's making her roti dough. And as I said, I have my curry potato on that side. Friends, Grandma have to be quick when she's making the dough. It's not waiting on us. The pan is already hot. So you just have to keep rolling and just keep fitting. So friends, as Grandma said, 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Grandma put a pinch of salt. I would call it a teaspoon of salt. Friends, it gets messy too. The oil is messy. Grandma is turning down her potato because she doesn't want it to dry all the way out. So I turn it on low heat. And I'm trying to get some of the oil up off the stove top, friends. It's a messy thing to do, but once you finish, you clean your station and you are okay, friends. So here we go, friends. Yeah. The pan is very hot, so they take no time to, and you don't want them to burn, you don't want them to get too much high color, you just want it to be right, friends. Friends, I wish you were here to enjoy with Grandma. Grandma always tease you. But Grandma is going to share. Last week, Grandma shared her barbecue with about 3 people, friends, plus herself. So that's number 4, and I was telling you I had enough. I could have feed about 6 people, but Grandma feed about 3 people plus herself, friends. So here Grandma is. Another roti skin is on, friends. You just slightly basting it, and as Grandma said, her pastry brush, she doesn't have that today, so she used just simple paper towel. And friends, your pastry must be soft, not too sticky, and not sticky at all. It has to be soft. And here I am rolling it. As Grandma said, she already kneaded. 1 tablespoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of all-purpose Robin Hood flour. Mind you, you can use any flour of your choice. Grandma just choose to use the Robin Hood flour, but you can use any of your choice. And friends, while you're rolling it, if you find that it's sticky, you can just take some flour and just base it like Grandma is doing it. Friends, it's a delicious meal. You would like it. If you are not so much of a meat eater, whether or not you're a meat eater, you would love this roti that Grandma is simply making here. And as Grandma said, it's a vegetarian roti. Grandma want to show you, bring you in closer again to show you. So as Grandma preparing, here it is, friends. Grandma already flip it one time. Here is our curry potato with all the delicious stuff in it. And friends, I forget to tell you that I put a tablespoon of coconut butter into this potato. So it have the coconut cream, it have the potatoes, it have our mixed vegetables as you can see in it, it have our thyme. Grandma season it with onions, little salt. Grandma don't like too much spicy. Little pepper, not too much that it's going to make anybody sneeze or their eyes water. Grandma's just showing you what she does on a regular basis, friends. And as I said, bless my grandmother, she's not here anymore, but I learned all these skills from my grandmother. I started living with my grandmother when I was age 12. So I was a preteen then. So all my teenage life, I copy and I learned from my grandmother. She was a very hard-working lady. I learned from her. Friends, you see, Grandma put another of the roti skin, as you would call it. And friends, this is the last one. And you know, Grandma is going to plate it to show you how delicious this meal can look. Friends, it tastes delicious. I didn't overpower it with pepper. And there's no meat in this dish. There's no chicken. There is no beef. There is no goat. Those are the meat that people would make the roti dish with. But Grandma chose to just simply make a veggie dish. And friends, Grandma is going to share. Grandma knows a vegetarian family that she's going to share. So as soon as Grandma complete this dish, Grandma probably would drive to that person's house and said, hey, Grandma brought you a nice, delicious dish. Or Grandma probably called and said, she have a dish for you. Can you please come and pick it up? So friends, Grandma is just taking up the oil for a bit. Taking up the oil, and as I said, I'm going to plate it for you to see the miracle that Grandma's been doing here. So friends, here we are. This is our last roti skin that Grandma rolled and have it waiting until this one is complete. I find it kind of slow down, the heat kind of slow down. Well, I had turned it down for a bit. So Grandma just want to make sure that it cook on the inside. Because you want to make sure that it cook. You don't want to be too hurried. But at the same time, you have to be quick with it and make sure that it's well done. Because you don't want to give, you yourself don't want to eat something that is not well done or cooked properly. Friends, Grandma is going to rinse her hand. Grandma is back. Grandma is turning this one more time. Friends, the weather is beautiful today. It wasn't as hot as last Sunday, which I enjoyed. Last Sunday was humid. It wasn't so much the sunshine, it was just humid. But this one, the sun is out, but it's beautiful. I went out for a bit. I went out this morning for a bit, and it was really nice. It was weather that you want to be in, friends. Friends, you could make, this meal is a nice meal to make. The holidays coming up. You sit around with your friends. I know it's illegal to do fireworks from your house, even the park. It's best to go where they're doing it in the public, friends, and enjoy. But you can walk with this meal. It's an easy meal to eat. You wrap it and you can take it wherever you want to take it. It's an easy meal. So this is our last roti dough going onto the pan. Friends, Grandma take her time today and Grandma just show you what she's up to today. Friends, there's more coming. More of Grandma childhood meal is coming. Grandma just need your support. I'm going to clear here for a little bit. Grandma just need your support, friends. So here, Grandma is bringing this pot closer. Friends, this is the paper that Grandma is going to roll her roti in. It's called, yep, I think I take off a little too much. But Grandma is going to roll her roti into this paper. Grandma is getting one of her spoons. Friends, Grandma is going to plate it so you can see what her roti dinner look like tonight, friends. As I said, all over the Caribbean, people make this meal. Some people claim it as theirs. But everyone make it. So friends, Grandma is going to, this one is a little bit, yeah, Grandma is going to plate it so that you can see. Friends, as I said, I didn't want it to be too dry. It have little juice in it. And friends, this one would be delicious. I want to make sure that you see the essence of it before Grandma roll it, friends. Look at the roti in the skin there. Friends, it look delicious. Grandma is almost complete her dish. It's very nice. These are the ones that Grandma keep covered because you have to keep them warm. So there we go. Friends, I'm going to roll that one so you can see. I'm going to roll it so you can see, friends. And before Grandma rolled it, as I said, it's a messy job. I don't want anyone to complain, oh Grandma, you have too much stuff. No, it's a messy job, as Grandma said. And this one is a little bit brown. But listen, some people like it well done. Listen, it's homemade. It's not the professional deal. So friends, Grandma is folding her roti. As you can see what Grandma is doing, make sure that everything holds on the inside. Grandma is going to roll it into her paper. Friends, I know if you were close by Grandma, you would enjoy this meal. So Grandma just want to be carefully roll this meal so you can see. Want you to enjoy it, friends. It's very hot. That's why you fight Grandma to bring down like that. But it's hot. And friends, this is how they would roll it nicely for us. This meal is a nice meal. They'll roll it for us nicely. Friends. So friends, Grandma complete her first roti. Grandma roll it so that you can get the hang of it. You can see what Grandma is doing. That's the last one Grandma have on the stove. And Grandma is going to turn it off, friends, because it is finished. So friends, Grandma just want to thank you once more. Sorry there. Friends, Grandma just want to thank you once more for keep coming back to watch her cooking. Friends, I appreciate it. I'm asking you please to like, to share with your friends, to subscribe. Grandma is still building, as Grandma continue to say. Grandma is almost there. But Grandma is keep asking you please to continue to view, to share, and also to subscribe. Bye now, friends.